Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com. Here, if I could only choose one recording by Artist X, it would have to be Work F. Well, Artist X is the amazing Romanian pianist DINU LIPATTI. We were talking about him recently because some of you mentioned, or one of you mentioned in a recent comment, that there was a terrific issue on the APR label, here it is, of music by DINU LIPATTI, which sounds quite a bit better than the reissue in the EMI LIPATTI box. And it does. It absolutely does. Oh, this is the complete Columbia recordings, 1947 to 48. LIPATTI had a very, very brief lifespan. He died of leukemia. He was quite young, and he was, everyone agrees, just an amazing pianist, an incredible artist. His most famous album, arguably, is the disc of Chopin waltzes. I mean, exquisite, and a reference recording in that music, you know, even down to this very day. But that's not what I picked. It isn't. I'm sorry. I selected the Schumann Piano Concerto that's on here with the Philharmonia, the just founded and just formed Philharmonia Orchestra, under the just de-Nazified Herbert von Karajan from, what was it, from like 1947 or somewhere in there? 1947 or 48. Well, it had to be, because that's when all this stuff is from. Now, this two-disc set has got some classic stuff, as well as some recordings that were test recordings. Some Zurich test recordings with Antonio Ianigro, cellist, including a movement from the Beethoven Cello Sonata in A major, and some Bach arrangements in Fauré and Ravel, the pièce en forme de habanera, and Rimsky-Korsakov's Flight of the Bumblebee. Well, none of that really matters. But on this, of things that we know from the LIPATTI discography, we have two Scarlatti sonatas, his Bach, Hess, Jesu, Joy of Man's Desiring, Chopin, the Nocturne in D-flat, the Waltz in A-flat, the Chopin Piano Sonata No. 3, which is also like major LIPATTI stuff, Liszt's Petrarch Sonnet No. 104, the Grieg Piano Concerto with Alceo Galliera conducting, and the Schumann and the Chopin Barcarolle and Ravel's Alborada del Gracioso. Terrific program, absolutely terrific. But this Schumann is really, really, really special. And I chose it because, first of all, the evil god Cancrozans, who wants to eliminate all of classical music, but for one work per composer or per artist. I mean, you know, when an artist dies young and has a limited discography, it would be a crime if all of it weren't available, especially when the artist is as special as LIPATTI. LIPATTI is one of those artists, like one of those Eastern European guys, like the Hungarians and the Romanians, like Sándor Vég and Constantine Silvestri and Inescu. I mean, I talk about these people rather frequently because they had a certain way of making their instruments, whatever it was, making their instruments sing, of getting a real red-blooded human warmth in everything that they did. And it's so true here. Here, what you'll notice if you listen, when you listen to the first movement, for example, I mean, again, it's a concerto, everybody does. There is a sense of rubato, a flexibility of pulse within the phrase that is impossible to describe. It's impossible to imitate. It doesn't ever sound stiff or wooden or mechanical. Every single tune just breathes, has this wonderful, wonderful shape, and although he's very flexible, he's speeding up and slowing down, it's done with such finesse, with such inevitability and naturalness that you never even notice that. I mean, it's impossible to describe how he does it. You either feel it and you do it, or you don't. And like so many Eastern European artists, he just has it in his blood. He really does. And the performance, I mean, the sound is okay. As the commentator pointed out, these APR recordings have been very, very lovingly restored from, I assume from actual, discs, not from, whatever digi thing, EMI used or anyone else has used. And my goodness, they sound marvelous. They really do. I'm not saying they don't sound like 1947. They do. I mean, the sonics are rather limited. But still, The sound of the piano is very good. The orchestra is clear. I mean, and what a beautiful performance it is. Really an inimitable performance. And that's the point, isn't it? It's completely special. And I love it dearly. It's one of the great Schumann recordings, one of the reference recordings of this oft-recorded work. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.